Hi guys, my name is Tanya and this is my May reading wrap up. Because yes, I actually read some books in May, which is a vast improvement on all the other months for the rest of this year. So yeah, I've been quite fragile, but I am now crawling out of my reading slump and read 3 books in the month of May, which I am happy with because, say, it is a vast improvement on not having read anything other than a couple of comics for the rest of the year so far. So without further ado, let's jump into the 3 books that I did read. First off, we have Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. Because of course it was Cassandra Clare that brought me back into the world of reading. I only started reading her books last year, so they're quite fresh in my mind, and from reading this I found the characters much more engaging than those in the original Mortal Instruments series. I found that the writing was in a way more subtle, so although you obviously know where things are going with Emma and how she feels about Julian, there are a lot of other characters' motivations and ideas mixed in here that make it a lot less of a predictable read in a way, and I found that it was the gradual revelation of what different characters were thinking and feeling and what they were hiding that really made this book kind of surprising. I think I would still rate this under the Infernal Devices because how can you possibly beat steampunk Victorian London and Gem and Will, but I really enjoyed this book. Next up, I read The Joy of Less, A Minimalist Guide to Living by Francine J. And I read this on my Kindle because it felt kind of moronic to buy a book about buying and owning less stuff. This has been described as a fun and light-hearted introduction to minimalist living, and although I'm never going to be a minimalist, I can say that it has really helped me. So I am moving at the end of this month. We do not want to stay in this house. It has been a large part of the reason that I haven't been making videos this year, and I hate it here. So yeah, I'm moving at the end of the month and have finally snapped and realised that I need to get rid of a lot of my possessions. So I saw this book in Waterstones and I thought that it looked really helpful, but I didn't want to buy the physical copy and consequently went home and found that it was cheaper on Kindle, so I bought it on there. This book is split into 3 sections, and the first section is kind of a big pep talk about why it's so good to get rid of your stuff and how good it feels, and it actually had me raring to go and ready to get rid of so much stuff. It then moves into a run through room by room of how to go through the individual rooms in your house, and ends with a talk about why it's good for the environment and the rest of the world for you maybe to have less stuff. I had 2 main issues with this book, the first of which was the verbose writing style. Although it was really helpful to go room by room through the house because it highlighted the different items that you maybe didn't need within each room rather than overloading you with information in one big chunk, the author did like to go off on one about the joys of having less and kind of got a bit carried away at times, and it could be a bit off-putting. And the second thing that bothered me was the slightly dishonest policy that Francine J holds about maybe taking a photo of you wearing or using an item that you've been gifted to send to the person that gave it to you and then putting it straight in your pile of stuff to be thrown out or given to charity or whatever. This just didn't sit very well with me as an idea, especially as at other points this kind of preaches about being thankful for gifts but not going overboard so as not to encourage more of the same gift in the future if you didn't actually need or desire that item. And I think that if you're sending a photo of yourself enjoying this item to the person that gave it to you, you're going to send out the message that you want more of the same thing. So it kind of seemed to contradict itself, and I didn't like the dishonesty in that. However, overall this book has really helped me. The change in my room has been insane. I can see space in my wardrobe, I can fit all of my books on the bookshelf. It's helped me to justify getting rid of stuff, whereas before I'd be like, oh, I spent money on that, I can't get rid of it. This has helped me realising that maybe I've made mistakes in the past and moving on and starting afresh effectively. The final book that I read in the month of May was, of course, A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas, because Sarah J Maas. I've been waiting for this book to come out since last year when I finished the first book in the series, and on the day that it was released I was actually staying with a friend in Birmingham, so I went out as soon as I could to the new Birmingham Waterstones and picked up a copy of this, and I managed to get a signed copy, which now goes with my signed first copy, so I'm super duper happy about that. I did force myself to finish the Cassandra Clare before I moved on to this because I have a really bad habit of reading too many books at the same time and I don't give them my full attention. Every book that I've read this month has taken me a while to start moving with because I'm just not used to reading anymore. But once I got going, this was insane. Oh my days, can we just. I found that whilst I loved the first book, I don't know if I could go back and read it again because of the things that are revealed in this book and how characters act. This just took some turns that were painful, so I'm going to try and talk coherently about the book now. It did take me a while to get into it. I think it was because I was worried as Feyre has turned into not necessarily a drip, but she can't stand up for herself, she's letting herself be locked away, she's not in a good place at the beginning of the book. and it was very frustrating to watch after the development we saw in her in the first book, for her to be kind of unable to stand up to her supposed lover. It was just so frustrating and I was so angry at her. But through this book, the development that Feyre goes through is insane. I loved the view that we got to see into other courts and to see that maybe things in the Spring Court aren't, you know, the bed of roses that they're made out to be, that it's not always like this and that there are different ways of the Fae Society being. That was awesome. I want them to be friends with Tarquin. I just really loved how Sarah was able to flip our perceptions of characters and to really kind of show a problematic relationship and how Feyre breaks free of that. So yeah, I am super excited but also really, really tense for the next book, because this has left me hating characters in a way that I didn't think or know that I was going to hate them, and I'm concerned about where the beginning of the third book is going to have to go following the events of this book, but I am super excited for it. So yeah, those were the books that I read in May. I'm still reading slowly. I'm enjoying taking my time over books and reading them at a speed that I'm actually comfortable with, rather than trying to cram in as many books as I can. I have a massive problem with wrapping up a large number of books as well, so it's a lot more satisfying to me to read less books and to be able to talk about them, if not coherently, at least for a little bit longer. So yeah, it's been really good to be back, and hopefully I will see you guys soon. Goodbye!